Well, hello. I just got up from my long nap, about 15 hours. I'm just looking at this book. Timeline Series Volume 1, Before the Ages of Man, by a Cantor of SKYRIM. Before man came to rule Tamriel, and before the chronicles of the historians recorded the affairs of the rulers of Tamriel, the events of our world are known only through myths and legends, and through the divinely inspired teachings of the 9 divines. For convenience, historians divide the distant ages of prehistory into 2 broad periods of time, the Dawn Era and the Merethic Era. The Dawn Era is that period before the beginning of mortal time, when the feats of the gods take place. The Dawn Era ends with the exodus of the gods and magic from the world at the founding of the Adamantine Tower. The term Merethic comes from the Nordic, literally, era of the elves. The Merethic Era is the prehistoric time after the exodus of the gods and magic from the world at the founding of the Adamantine Tower, before the arrival of Ysgramor the Nord in Tamriel. The following are the most notable events of the Dawn Era, presented roughly in sequence, as it must be understood by creatures of time such as ourselves. The cosmos formed from the Arbus, chaos of totality, by Anu and Ptolemy. Akatosh, Ariel, formed and time began. The gods at Dada formed. Lorcan convinced or tricked the gods into creating the mortal plane, Nirn. The mortal plane was at this point highly magical and dangerous. As the gods walked, the physical makeup of the mortal plane and even the timeless continuity of existence itself became unstable. When Magnus, architect of the plans for the mortal world, decided to terminate the project, the gods convened at the Adamantine Tower, Durrani Tower, the oldest known structure in Tamriel, and decided what to do. Most left when magic did. Others sacrificed themselves into other forms so that they might stay the Alnafei. Lorcan was condemned by the gods to exile in the mortal realms, and his heart was torn out and cast from the tower, where landed a volcano formed. With magic, in the mythic sense, gone, the cosmos stabilized. Elven history finally linear began. ME 2500. The Merethic Era. The Merethic Era was figured by early Nord scholars as a series of years numbered in reverse order, backward from their beginning of time. The founding of the Camoran dynasty, recorded as year 0 of the first era. The prehistoric events of the Merethic Era are listed here, with their traditional Nordic Merethic dates. The earliest Merethic date cited by King Harold's scholars was ME 2500, the Nordic reckoning of the first year of time. As such, the Merethic Era extends from ME 2500 in the distant past to ME 1 blah blah blah, the year before the founding of the Camoran dynasty and establishment of the White Gold Tower as an independent city-state. According to King Harold's bards, ME 2500, the Merethic Era, was the date of construction of the Admin Tower on Balfir Island on High Rock, the oldest known structure of Tamriel. This corresponds roughly to the earliest historical dates given in various unpublished Elvish chronicles. During the early Merethic Era, the aboriginal beast people of Tamriel, the ancestors of the Khajiit, Argonian, Orcish, and other beast folk, lived in pre-literate communities throughout Tamriel. In the Middle Merethic Era, the Admeri, mortals of elven origin, refugees left their doomed and now lost continent of Aldmeris, also known as Old Alnafei, and settled in southwestern Tamriel. The first colonies were distributed at wide intervals on islands along the entire coast of Tamriel. Later inland settlements were founded primarily in fertile lowlands in southwest and central Tamriel. Wherever the beast folk encountered the elves, the sophisticated, literate, technologically advanced Aldmeri cultures displaced the primitive beast folk into the jungles, marshes, mountains, and wastelands. The Adamantine Tower was rediscovered and captured by the Direni, a prominent and powerful Aldmeri clan. The Crystal Tower was built on Somerset Isle and later White Gold Tower in Cyrodiil. During the Middle Merethic era, Aldmeri explorers mapped the coast of Vardenfell, building the first era High Elven wizard towers at Alda Redania, Balfal, Tel Arun, and Tal Mora in Morrowind. It was also during this period that Aelid wild elven settlements flourished in the jungles surrounding White Gold Tower. Present-day Cyrodiil wild elves, also known as the Heartland High Elves, preserve the Dawn-era magics and language of the Alnafe. Ostensibly a tribute land to the High King of Valinor, the Heartland's long lines of communication from the Somerset Isles sovereignty effectively isolated Cyrodiil from the High Kings at Crystal Tower. The late Middle Merethic era is the period of the High Velothi culture. The Chimmer, ancestors of the modern Dummer, or Dark Elves, were dynamic, ambitious, long-lived elven clans devoted to fundamentalist ancestor worship. The Chimmer clans followed the prophet Veloth out of the ancestral elven homelands in the southwest to settle in the lands now known as Morrowind. Despising the secular culture and profane practices of the Dwemer, the Chimmer also coveted the lands and resources of the Dwemer, and for centuries provoked them with minor raids and territorial disputes. The Dwemer, dwarfs, free-thinking, reclusive elven clans devoted to the secrets of science, engineering, and alchemy, established underground cities and communities in the mountain range. Later, the Velothi Mountains, separating modern Skyrim and Morrowind. The late Merethic era marks the precipitous decline of Velothi culture. Some Velothi settled in villages near declining and abandoned ancient Velothi towers. During this period, Velothi high culture disappeared on Vardenfell Island. The earliest Dwemer freehold colonies date from this period. Degenerate Velothi devolved into tribal cultures, which in time evolved into modern great houses of Morrowind, or persisted as barbarian Ashlander tribes. The only surviving traces of this tribal culture are scattered Velothi towers and Ashlander nomads on Vardenfell Island. The original First Era High Elven wizard towers along the coast of Tamriel were also abandoned about this time. It was in the late Merethic era that the pre-literate humans, the so-called Nedic peoples, from the continent of Atmora, also Altmora or the Alder Wood in Aldmeris, migrated and settled in northern Tamriel. The Nord culture hero Yaskrimor, leader of the great colonizing fleet to Tamriel, is credited with developing a runic transcription of Nord speech based on Elvish principles, and so Yaskrimor is considered the first human historian. Yaskrimor's fleet landed at Heseric Head at the extreme northern tip of Skyrim's Broken Cape. The Nords built there the legendary city of Sarthal. The elves drove the men away during the Night of Tears, but Yaskrimor soon returned with his 500 companions. Also during the late Merethic era, the legendary immortal hero, warrior, sorcerer, and king, variously known as Pelenal Whitestraight, Harald Harry Breeks, Ysmir, Hans the Fox, etc., wandered Tamriel, gathering armies, conquering lands, ruling, then abandoning his kingdoms to wander again. That's it. It was a good book. Well, looks like I'm on my way to Riften. On my way back to the Ragged Flagon. That's right. Find out what we're gonna do with Mercer. Frey's betrayal. Alright, I'll see you in Riften. See ya.